The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. We are the real owners of the West. We are making the West run. Just Africans saying no to the West is causing sleepless night. Fresh chaos in France. Emmanuel Macron told the world that we should be grateful. Without France, we can never survive. And we said enough. We want to see who depends on the other. And finally, we have proven to the world that we are rather the ones taking care of France with our resources that France is taking. With the money France is forcing us to save in their central bank and the CFA they have imposed on us is what is giving France everything. So for that reason, we don't want to be in bed with France again. And France told the world that we will regret, we'll come back begging, but that didn't happen. The new Prime Minister of France, Sébastien Lecornu, has resigned after 26 days in office. This is breaking news. Things are not going on well in France anymore. Just Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso kicking France out of Africa is bringing these people to where they are now. Now things are just in a mess. They are not seeing their head from tail. Nothing is working. Anybody that comes looking at the situation, they just don't want to be involved. So everybody's running away.
Our political parties are continuing to adopt a stance that suggested that they all had an absolute majority in the National Assembly. They seem to want to make compromises, but it seems like actually what happens is that they want the other parties to accept all of their programme. That's true of the centrist bloc, but also of the other parties. The opposition parties decided not to join the central bloc in government, but they didn't want to adopt compromises. Mindsets need to change to accept that parties don't see the whole of their manifesto programmes applied.
Let's bring in our Europe correspondent, Siobhan Robbins. And Siobhan, I think it's fair to say French politics really not going well, not just today, but in recent years.
That's exactly right. If you thought France was facing a crisis a month ago, it's just got a whole lot worse. Sébastien Lecornu, the 7th Prime Minister under Emmanuel Macron, and the shortest ever serving Prime Minister in the history of the Fifth Republic, just 27 days in office. So what went wrong? Why did he quit? Well, listening to him there, he basically seems to suggest that what he was working with was totally unworkable, that they were a minority coalition, but the parties within it seemed to all believe that the others should follow their agenda solely. There was no room for compromise. And the big problem is that France is facing massive issues that need to be solved. It's got the largest public debt in the Eurozone. That's spiralling to more than 3 trillion euros. So stuff needs to be sorted out fast. And this budget problem in particular is something that also took the scalp of his predecessor, Francois Bayrou, who had, before he lost a vote of confidence, put forward solutions, for example, scrapping 2 public holidays and making cuts of 44 billion. So what happens next? That's the big question. And Emmanuel Macron basically has 3 options. Firstly, he can appoint a new prime minister. The issue is that he hasn't got many candidates that he'd favour left, and he doesn't want to give it to a left-wing candidate because he's worried that they would dilute his hard-fought pension reforms. The next option would be calling a new parliamentary election. Now, that is something that the far-right party is really keen on. The reason they're so keen on is because they're likely to get a majority. He doesn't want to risk that. So in the past, Macron has ruled that out. And then the third option is that he quit. Now, he is meant to stay in office until May next year. There are growing calls today for him to quit, for him to be impeached. He has ruled that out in the past, but something needs to happen quickly because France's problems simply aren't going away.
Like one economist said, it is the fool of Emmanuel Macron that opened the eyes of Africans. Enough! How can we have all these resources, yet we will be suffering, forcing us to save our money, use the CFA franc, the uranium, and everything in Africa belong to these people while we are suffering. Now we are saying enough is enough. Captain Ibrahim Traore Assimi Goita Abdurrahman Chiani, just 3 nations. Then what will happen to these people if all of us decide to unite and kick the West and America out? France is not knowing peace. Every blessed day, one drama to the other. And it is as a result of just 3 nations. When they did everything possible and it didn't succeed, we are seeing the result. They decided to cover this thing up for all this while. But now the things are not coverable. The people themselves are exposing, even though they are not saying this to us. But looking at their actions, what they are going through, nobody will tell us that it's as a result of the things they are no longer getting from Africa that is bringing them down to their knees. And this is what we need to understand as Africans, that we have the power. We are the reason to why these people are where they are. They turn the narrative upside down for us to have less faith and not know what we have in this continent, so they can continue to be getting cheap labor from us. And that is why we need to reconscientize the mentality into believing that Africa is poor. They are the ones that are helping us. We are surviving on their mercy. Africa is not surviving on any mercy. Africa have everything. The reason to which we are not progressing is not only because of our leaders. It's because of the systematic things that they have kept in place. Now they are dealing with us mentally. So the African believe that before he or she can succeed, you have to go there for greener whatever. But we have forgotten that the greener pastures are here. Africa is greener than any other place. We have everything that they claim we do not have. And that is why they can never do without Africa. And when they finish, they turn the narrative that they are the ones that are coming here to help us. In which way? How can somebody with nothing help you that have everything? And that is why anytime you hear these people saying they want to protect any country, protect the citizens from dictatorship, is because they are no longer having their interests. They are not the ones to tell us who is a dictator, who is a good leader in Africa. We can tell who is a dictator and who is doing well for us. So this democracy thing that they are always imposing on us is for them to continue to be getting what they want in Africa. The same people that are saying democracy is everything and they are there to support Africans, they themselves are not being able to live with that democracy. Look at what democracy is causing to the people that are preaching democracy to the world. So this should tell us that everything they have been telling us, there's no truth in it. We are a people of our own and we can decide the kind of system of governance that suits us. Everything of the West cannot suit the African because we are in a different environment. We are different people. Look at China. How China is doing well with that democracy. So that means that we need to find a model that suits the African, like we are seeing in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, because they want to continue to be getting what they want from us. That is why they are imposing their system that we do not understand on us, so they can continue to be taking everything they want in Africa. This is the very best time to live as an African, if only you understand geopolitics and what is happening around the world. So that's the latest around the world, in Europe and in France.